All right, welcome back, everybody, to Crime and Plastic. I hope you've been enjoying our last few episodes, and we're back this week with another good story. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Rosie.
That was very loud, Doctor. That
I'm
was
doing-
very emphatic.
I'm doing fantastic, Rosie. How are you?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
And Santiner?
How are you, Rosie? We never asked Rosie, so this time I remembered.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm good. I had some root canal this week though.
Oh my God, that's right.
So,
Fun.
Yeah, so fun. So other than that though, it's been great.
Yep. No root canal for me.
Lucky.
That's well,
How's your Chick-fil-A going?
when you have all fake teeth.
That's right. You don't need any root canals.
your roots have all been canaled already.
Everything's
Let's
been
talk about
canaled.
let's talk about fake teeth for a second. It's really controversial. I've
I
been
love
seeing
fake
lately
teeth. What's controversial about it?
because now there's like a rise in people getting like veneers at an early age,
Yeah.
and everyone online is like, "Why are you ruining your perfectly good teeth?"
Yeah, if they're perfectly good. But if they're not, fix
But
them.
They're saying like you're ruining them in the sense that they're not. Maybe your teeth aren't perfect, like aesthetically, but there's nothing functionally wrong with them, or
You mean like ruining the enamel? And
So why get
Yeah, like
braces? Braces ruins enamel too. I mean,
no, not just enamel. You're shaving down the entire tooth. Hello.
I know it's great. They
There's
look
never
like little
gonna be a point. You can't
fangs.
compare braces to.
Well, braces, listen, the point is you can live your whole life without braces and be fine. They're torture devices.
100%. But when you get to no, because it gets to a certain point where your teeth crowd so much for so long a time
Yeah?
that you can get like a lot of bacteria that builds up because you can't reach those spots.
Oh, I see. But the rest of the world doesn't get braces and they seem to do fine.
Yeah, and after like 20 or 30 years, they all got like decaying teeth.
Yes, they do. That's why you get them veneers.
Okay, but
Can't decay through ceramic.
that's.
Porcelain.
what side do you come on in the controversy, Santina?
I think people should get veneers if they. You know me, I'm very like
Do what you want.
do what you want. If you like
Yeah.
it, I love it.
Yeah.
But I think there's a conversation to be said
Of
about
course.
these influencers that are like 20 years old, and I don't know,
Everything has pluses and minuses in life.
but it's like a trend now.
There's always pros and
it's
cons.
an expensive trend.
It
I mean,
is.
if people.
But
are
that's what
getting
people
it.
are saying. Like it's super expensive because if you're already like 50, like you're about to
Yeah.
kick the can.
A
It's like,
couple more years. Want to have some nice smile for the last couple of
that's what I'm saying.
minutes.
But I mean, there's the other side of the argument. Why wait till you're 50 and enjoy it while you're?
Well,
you know,
then-
Good point.
Well,
Yeah.
financially, like if you're
Yeah.
20, you have to change them every 10 to 15 years.
I ain't changing mine.
That's
I'm
that's
taking these to the grave.
what?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money
What?
throughout your lifetime.
Yeah, so is brushing your teeth. That costs money
And
too.
you don't know if you don't know like if you get the veneers now-
Toothpaste over a lifetime costs money. Teeth
Still-
whitening
you still have
costs
to.
money.
You still have to do all that stuff when you have veneers.
Food costs money. Nobody says costs a lot of money. Stop eating.
Yeah, but it's all at once.
That's
Is
right.
it? Is it?
The
I
last
don't,
10
I don't
years.
know that. I mean, according to my dentist, the 10 to 15 years is not true. That you have to change it every 10 to 15 years. If
What
you
is
take
it
good,
then?
it
Take
just
good
it
care
depends
of
how
them.
you take care of them.
Yeah.
It's if you take good care of them, they can last forever.
Forever.
Why
Yeah.
not?
But then your veneers become like out of style.
Yeah. Well,
They make
That's
better
true.
ones.
That you're dated. I
That's
get it.
true.
People are like, ooh, those 90s
Yeah, have you
veneers.
seen
Oof,
90s veneers? You're like, oh, wow.
Big choppers.
She's on generation 1.
yes.
Well, look, everything has pros and cons. You got to wait for yourself. Is it worth the money? Depends where you are. What if your career is to be on television, for example? I think at a young age, probably should look as good as you can because that's your moneymaker.
Well,
As opposed to just Invisalign.
Invisalign doesn't make your teeth whiter and perfect.
But yeah, not whiter. You can
I
get
mean, a lot of
whitening.
times when you get veneers, even if you get veneers, you still need to get braces before because veneers don't always fix your bite. Like me,
Braces is a scam. Can we just be honest?
I agree that braces are a scam.
It's a scam.
I
As soon as they come off, if you don't wear that retainer every day for the rest of your life, they go right back to the way they
As
were.
some-
Listen, I'm an adult wearing Invisalign after having had braces. Like, I totally believe braces are a scam.
Invisalign's
I'm
also a
not
scam.
I'm not sure that veneers are the solution.
Why not?
I don't know. I never had braces as a kid, and I just had braces for 3 years that I just took off, and my teeth I think look worse.
I think your teeth look amazing.
I don't know. I don't think I don't see a difference that happened over 3 years.
The juice wasn't worth the squeeze. Are you saying?
The juice was not worth the squeeze.
I didn't understand. I did not understand why you had braces
Yeah.
because your teeth look great now.
I don't. Why I had braces is that they explained to me is that
You had too much money in your bank account, and they
Maybe.
wanted to take some of it out, and they did.
My teeth were never crooked. My bite was like my teeth were exactly aligned. I don't have an overbite, underbite. They call it a cross bite. And they said that over time, the pressure of my teeth like lining up exactly, that my teeth would start to crack because they're not supposed to be lined up exactly. So they said I needed braces to fix your bite, but it doesn't. Braces don't really fix your bite like that. A crossbite is very hard to fix. It's more like you need jaw surgery for that.
Yeah.
It's not.
A hammer and a chisel.
And then I was after 2 years of wearing braces, I was like, fine, fuck it. I'll get the jaw surgery. Like I can't wear these anymore. But then he told me even if I have jaw surgery, I have to wear braces afterwards. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, just take these off. There's no solution. I just have a bad bite. It's not gonna go anywhere. So here I am with my. But then they also try to convince me to get veneers.
But how would that change?
Why do you
the
need
bite?
veneers? You have perfectly straight white teeth.
That's what I'm saying.
The dentist told me the other day my teeth are super yellow, and I was like, really?
No, but
they're
your
not.
dentist is on some shit.
I was like, yellow? I was like, I know they're not. They're yellow-ish, but they're not like.
No.
They're not
super
yellow at all.
And then.
Man, wait, is your dentist colorblind? Because that's possible. Your dentist could be colorblind.
And then they also said, what else did they say? No, the way it's not that veneers fix your bite, is like they could basically make the illusion, because I guess they can make it like a little bit thicker up top or like
Yeah,
like
okay.
push it forward so then it looks like I have the right bite. So it's not like they don't fix it, they just kind of like make an illusion of it. Of
Right.
it fixed. But I'm
Listen.
not against veneers. I think they look great on a lot of people. I'm just not ready to get them. I'm not saying never.
Here's the
but
thing.
At this
This is what I
point,
think
don't
about
think I need 'em.
veneers.
Yeah.
I would be more pro veneers if, in order to get them, you didn't have to make some
Shave down
irreparable damage to your natural teeth. It's like this. It's like someone or cuts my hair to only be like 2 inches long and choppy, and they say you're just gonna have to wear extensions for the rest of your life.
That's exactly what it is.
It's like,
That's a great analogy.
fuck no.
Well,
Like,
fuck
yes,
yes.
the extensions are gonna look great. And I don't know, like if my hair is like super thin or whatever, I have some medical condition, then that's a good solution for me. But for someone who has perfectly healthy hair, and I just want the look of long hair right now, I
Why
don't want
do
to
a
cut
perm-
my hair.
That's a
2
good
to 3
analogy.
inches.
But in my case,
Well, yeah, for you,
I had like homeless hair or like patches missing and stuff. So in that case, yeah, cut the good stuff off and make it look normal.
but what I'm saying, I'm pro veneers for, again, like you're already 50, 60, 70, you're kicking the bucket.
100.
It's like whatever, like who cares?
Who cares?
But it's like for these like 19, 20, 21-year-olds, it's like, girl, you don't need veneers.
I mean, the answer is it depends on how bad their teeth are at that moment. But yeah, I think in general, you don't need them. But if they look bad, get them. Wait, I had something to say about what you were saying. What were you
It's just too
talking about
permanent.
again?
My braces, my tooth journey,
Your tooth journey.
my
That's
yellow teeth.
part of being old is you think of things and then I forget what I was going to say.
You forget what you were gonna say.
That happens
But
to
it-
me too.
That I have a beautiful smile.
You have a beautiful
You
smile.
do,
and
though.
I think that your dentist is colorblind if he thinks your teeth are yellow because they're not.
I'm gonna tell him.
To set the record straight, because maybe some of you haven't even, like, you don't really see Rosie or on camera, or you only just listen to this podcast and you don't know what any of us look like. Her teeth are absolutely not yellow. Like, it's not even like this would be up for debate.
No.
Like, it's kind of a
We're not being polite
It's
because I'm
definitely-
not polite. So
yeah. The doctor would be like, "No, your teeth are yellow." Like, he would say the truth.
100%.
Because I don't drink coffee, so that's really the main thing that yellows your teeth. And I don't.
I'm all into self-improvement if you can't tell by my profession.
Yes,
You
love
know.
it. If you like it, I love it.
All right. Can I do my news of the world?
You can.
Plastic surgery news of the world. This one's not illegal.
No, it's just juicy.
Just juicy. Just a little cheese. Ukraine-born Miss Japan.
Ukraine-born Miss Japan. How does that work?
I don't know. I'm reading the headline.
Okay.
Ukrainian-born Miss Japan gives up her crown. She's forced to give up her crown after just 15 days as the reigning Miss Japan because she admitted to having an affair with a married plastic surgeon.
I don't think you should have to give up your crown for that.
Big story.
Maybe they have like a morality clause in the.
She's a model,
Boo.
and she is the first person of European descent to win Miss Japan last month, January 22nd. And it was a big deal. But then 15 days after her win, she had to give it up because the Japanese news reported that she was dating popular plastic surgeon Takuma Maeda, who's 45, who just happens to be married with a child. Scandal. Scandalous.
Does he also have to give up his entire profession?
No. First, she denied it, but then she changed her tune February 5th, admitted she had done it, and then gave up her crown. So
Why'd she change her tune? What did they find out? They
I
must have
don't know
found. They must
more.
have found something else.
It's a season of
Pictures.
love.
They must
anyway,
have
she
had some
apologized.
He didn't ask her to be his Valentine. And
She also solemnly expressed her sincere apologies to Takuma's wife, family, and other related parties. I think it's a good story.
It is.
I still can't remember what the fuck I was going to say to you.
I was gonna say
I had
something
something to
about-
say to you
Is
about
it
your
about my teeth?
Maybe not about your teeth. About how Invisalign is a scam. Yeah, Invisalign's a scam.
I don't know.
You get invisible results. That's why it's called Invisalign.
my teeth
they don't
look
tell you that.
straighter.
They do.
Let me see. Oh, you mean that one over there?
Yeah. Well,
The little wonky one?
to be fair, I haven't been using my Invisalign correctly.
I think Invisalign.
Wait a minute. So you just wear it wrong? How can you wear it wrong?
No, it's
I
if you
don't
don't
wear
wear
it
it all the
consistently.
time. That's why I didn't get Invisalign because I knew I couldn't commit to it.
Who can wear it all the time?
Megan
There are
did.
people.
Look at Megan's
Megan
beautiful,
has beautiful
teeth.
teeth.
Look at those beautiful teeth.
Do you still wear it to retain it though? At night, right?
Oh wait,
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to wear something for the rest of your life, whether you have braces or not. Okay, 2 days. But I'm just saying you're basically committing to it's a lifelong commitment.
wait,
braces.
guys, I went to. You
Okay, it's better, but I'm just saying it's a lifelong commitment. They don't really make that clear when you're 11 years old. You know what I mean?
True.
who are they supposed to make it clear to your parents?
Whatever. Still, I'm just saying that's why everybody gets it when they're little and then gets it again, and then as adults they realize
It sticks with some people though. Some people's like anatomy, I guess, it like stays. Like,
no, the ones that
have-
get veneers.
No,
sticks.
I have friends who had braces from the same dentist, and their teeth are straight.
I remembered I was going
Do
to
they wear
say.
retainers?
I remember
Yeah.
what I was going to say. It wasn't about the Invisalign. It was that your teeth will not matter at all because in 5 years, everybody's going to be wearing those Apple headset things and projecting whatever kind of face onto your. They may be talking to you, but they're actually talking to Taylor Swift. You know what I'm saying? Like you're going to be talking, and they're just going to see whatever they want to see
Yeah, they should.
with the perfect teeth.
Should just make like a avatar reflection that.
That's
people
what I
can
mean.
See you
They
with.
do that when you put on
Yeah.
the Vision Pros. I've tried them. They like scan your face and it creates like an avatar from your face.
Right.
But it's like the uncanny valley. It doesn't look exactly like you.
Right. No, but
It
I
looks a lot like you,
saw
but it's,
a
like, weird.
guy. No, I saw a girl wearing it, and she was looking at her boyfriend getting changed, getting dressed for work, and she projected. She kept changing the face of the guy to like different movie stars.
Nice.
She's like, I like that. I like that. And he thought she was talking about what he was wearing, but she was actually just changing his face. So they can change your smile, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay,
Maybe you'll put me out of business.
maybe.
Doubtful.
Well, it's a
Possibility.
it's expensive buy-in.
It's an expensive buy, but then when you get close to the person, you're gonna keep hitting each other's head thing.
Yeah.
Eventually, that technology is gonna be in us.
Like in
Like,
your
it's gonna be like
brain.
a chip or
A chip.
Yeah, that's more
Well, yeah.
wearable.
That's
Yeah.
that's a you problem, not a me problem.
All right.
No, because I'm gonna be,
dead.
downloaded into the net, whatever.
Into the-
Uploaded into the
I'm gonna-
cloud.
I'm gonna hack your cloud consciousness.
Better not. I'm gonna make the password really hard to get, so you won't be able
I was
to.
about to say your password.
I know.
I was about to
1,
say
2,
it
3,
out
4,
loud.
5, 6, 7, 8.
I was about to say
It's
it
a
out
tough
loud.
one.
It's like his birthday.
Tough one. Tough
No,
one.
it's not, guys.
Don't try it. We have to change it.
All right. So
You have a story for us?
I actually was finally able to log into our website and see some of the listener stories that were submitted.
Oh yeah.
So
Why couldn't you log in? You forgot the password?
what do you mean?
You
I
said I
could.
finally was able to log in.
No, there was something wrong with the
Oh.
back end.
We don't get the actual forms emailed to us, so
Oh.
I have to log into the back end of the website to read them.
Got it.
So I got access to the back end of our website, so I can hear your stories, guys. So keep sending them.
So what's your story?
So one of the stories that I read, first of all, there's quite a few stories, like a few people sent the same story about hearing that people having plastic surgery in Turkey end up losing a kidney on the black market. Like they get tricked into plastic surgery, they wake up and their kidney's gone. It sounds a little urban legendy to me. I don't
It
know if
does.
it's true.
I've only ever seen that people say a friend of mine. I've never seen like it
Yeah.
was my kidney that was taken.
Yeah, so I couldn't find an actual story that said that. So I'm not sure how true that is, guys. The kidney loss from Turkey. I'm
So
not sure.
so
I mean, I don't know.
I was thinking about it. I was
Yeah.
thinking about it. So, which operations could you potentially lose a kidney and not know? Because the urban legend is always that they didn't even know that they lost a kidney. It was
Right.
just like months later,
Yes.
they did a scan and she
Yes.
was missing a kidney.
Yes.
A couple of possibilities. One is you're born with one kidney and you didn't know it, and now you got a CAT scan for the first time.
True.
Possibility number one.
How can you be born with one kidney?
It happens.
His nephew.
The
Yeah.
congenital
Yeah, my nephew's
What
got
is
one
it?
kidney.
absence of a kidney?
Yeah, it happens. Also, you have like a horseshoe. Kidneys can be all over the place. They're one of those organs that can really. There's a lot of many anomalies. Anyway, the point is that. Well, that's one possibility. The other possibility is if there's only a few operations that would allow you to actually like remove a kidney intact through the kind of incision you do with
Like a tummy tuck?
a tummy tuck could do it. But like you can't say I had liposuction and I'm missing a kidney because there's no way they could take a kidney out through the little tiny liposuction incision.
Right.
They can't take it out through a breast incision.
Right.
Basically, they could take it out for like a back lift, like a lower back lift or a tummy tuck. If you have those incisions, it's possible technically to take out your kidney. But all the other ones, no.
Okay.
So if your friend says I had liposuction and they take out my kidney, not true.
Fair, good point. So
Either
yeah,
that or your friend is lying. She had a tummy tuck.
Right. Could be.
so there was quite a few of those submitted. I don't know if that's true. I couldn't find any stories online, so I don't know.
Has it ever happened anywhere in the world? I would probably say yes, if I had to bet.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's happened somewhere in the world because organs
Yeah.
there's a market for organs.
Yeah.
People will pay whatever.
They need to start 3D printing them.
That's a you problem. One day.
All right. So today's story is about Dr. Patrick Chavez.
Patrick Chavez.
Chavez or Chavis. It's spelled
Chavez.
Chavis.
Chavez. Okay.
Chavez.
Chavis. So he actually, he went to. This happened in 2002. So Dr. Chavez, he went to University of California, Davis in the 1970s, and he was actually a little bit famous because he got in through a new, through the new like affirmative action program that was going on to University of California, where they let in 5 black doctors, and then another doctor who didn't get in, Dr. Back, he actually sued the school.
Oh, that's a
because
famous case.
Yeah, Back. So he sued the school. He sued the University of California.
He lost.
He
Thought he lost. Backy versus.
no, he didn't.
He won?
He won.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it went all the way to the Supreme Court, and he won, and he got into the school too, Dr. Back.
Right.
So Dr. Chavez, he finished his medical school, and he became a star in California. Like he was a doctor. He was a gynecologist, and he was a doctor for. He grew up in a low income community. And so, had the opportunity to go to medical school, and he made the most of it, and he gave back to his community. He was a gynecologist in a low income community. He helped a lot of black women, for 20 years, and then in the 90s, he decided to switch specialties and go into cosmetic surgery.
Love it. Good for
It-
him.
It didn't work out so well for him
Oh.
though in the cosmetic surgery industry.
Oh.
So he actually,
But there's there's a lot of gynecologists that go into cosmetic surgery.
so he went into cosmetic surgery. He's around 19. I think in the late 90s.
Okay.
And then he had some problems with a few patients.
Wait, what state?
California.
Okay.
He stayed in California.
Like Southern?
He was in, no, I think it was in LA.
That's
Like-
Southern. Okay.
Yeah, Southern, sorry.
Okay. I know you're spatially,
Spatially.
geographically challenged. So
I think
understand.
San Diego is more southern. LA is like
2
it's
hours
like-
north of
it's like
San
mid
Diego.
it's like mid southern. Okay?
Mid Southern, lower, upper Southern. Got
Okay.
it. Okay.
So he was brought before the Board of Medicine in California
For
And-
having some bad outcomes in
For having
cosmetic
s-
surgery.
for having
Okay.
some bad outcomes. So I'm gonna go over some of his outcomes.
Okay.
He okay, let me see. Okay, so patient TC was a 43-year-old woman, 4 feet 11 inches, weighed 185 pounds.
BMI is way over, by the way.
On June, no. Oh, 4 feet 11, you're right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
4'11", 180 pounds.
Yes.
That's like a 35, 36
Yes.
BMI.
So on June 22nd, 1996, she got liposuction with Dr. Chavez.
This is 1996.
1996, yeah.
Okay.
The procedure began at 7:50 with the injection of 5,000 cc's of tumescent solution.
Mm-hmm.
Respondent infused the tumescent solution into all areas of the body that were to be suctioned, including the abdomen, groin, buttocks, thighs, and iliac crests.
Mm-hmm.
What are your iliac crests?
Like the lower back.
Okay. She was given Versed, Stadol at 7:30 and 7:45. Then
Actually, iliac crests are here. They're like hip, front, and there's like posterior, anterior
okay.
legs.
So this was at 7:30 when they gave her the tumescent and the anesthetic. He didn't start aspiration of the fat until 11:20 a.m.
Wait, when was it infused?
It was infused at 7:50 a.m.
And he didn't start aspirating till when?
11:20 a.m.
You're saying he waited 4 hours?
This was 3.5 hours after respondent began injecting the tumescent solution, and full 3 hours after completing the administration of the tumescent solution.
What was he doing in between?
By waiting at least 3 hours before suctioning the adipose tissue, respondent caused the epinephrine blood constricting properties to wear off.
Yes.
This could cause a blood vessel hypodilution, excessive blood aspiration during the suctioning, excessive bleeding after surgery, and would increase the level of lidocaine in the bloodstream, which could cause lidocaine toxicity. Is this all correct?
All true.
Okay,
It's
all true.
But no, in his defense, 1996 is only like maybe 12 years into liposuction period. Like liposuction was invented in the early 80s. Like it became a thing.
Okay.
Maybe described in the late 70s, became a thing in the early 80s. So we're talking like 10, 12 years into the whole science of liposuction.
Okay. So after liposuction was completed, the Dr. Chavez authorized his assistants to give the patient an orange to eat approximately 60 minutes following completion of surgery. At some point during the post-surgery recovery period, the patient began to gag, and then the doctor moved orange pulp from her mouth. Her post-surgery blood pressure dropped to 84/59,
Mm-hmm.
and then 87/60.
Mm-hmm.
This did not alarm the doctor because he discontinued monitoring her blood pressure and pulse rate at 4 p.m.
Those numbers aren't terrible.
Okay. All right. Shortly after the doctor discontinued monitoring the patient's vitals, the respondent called his house to see how another patient was progressing who had been allowed to rest at his home after undergoing liposuction procedure.
Ooh, that's a little bit of red flag.
Yes. So
Unless it's his wife.
no, he had another patient in his house that his teenage niece was looking after,
Okay.
and then the
That's a little.
niece didn't answer the call,
Mm.
and so he left his office to go see how the patient was doing in his house.
Mm-hmm.
He left the office at 5:00 without giving any specific instructions to the recovery nurse for the original liposuction patient.
Right.
And then when the doctor left the office, the patient was still groggy and stayed in the post-op bed. She was not alert. Her eyes were not open, and she was leaking a red watery fluid from her incision sites.
Mm-hmm. Which is normal after liposuction.
Yes.
You leak red, watery liquid.
After Dr. Chavez left his office, the patient's husband asked the nurse if he could take the patient home because he felt like she could rest more comfortably at home.
Mhm.
The patient's husband and nurse were tried to put her in a wheelchair, but they were unsuccessful because she was unable to stand. They placed her back on the operating room table. Sometime later, patient's husband placed the patient in the wheelchair. While the patient was on the wheelchair, she was unable to lift her head. Patient's husband informed the nurse, who immediately took her pulse, and she was placed on the operating room table. The nurse paged the doctor and then returned to the patient and attempted to intubate the patient, but was unsuccessful. Responded is the doctor. Dr. Chavez called back, and the nurse informed him that the patient was in distress.
Wait. Who tried to intubate the patient?
The nurse, the recovery nurse.
Wow. Oh, is she like a CRNA?
I don't know.
Okay.
It just says the nurse.
That's a pretty bold move for a nurse to intubate.
And
They're usually not
then
trained to do that.
The doctor called back, and the nurse informed him that the patient was in distress. The patient was in cardiac arrest.
Oh no.
The nurse went back to the patient and attempted CPR. The patient was no longer breathing, but she had a very faint pulse. The nurse called 911, then returned to continue CPR. The paramedics came at 6:26 p.m. They took vital signs and determined that the patient showed no signs of life. She was not breathing, had no pulse, no blood pressure, and her eyes were fixed and dilated.
Oh no.
The doctor's nurse told the paramedics that the patient had been in this condition for about 15 minutes prior to their arrival. The doctor, Chavez, returned to his office as the paramedics attempted to revive the patient. Unable to revive her, the paramedics transported her to acute care hospital. When she arrived to the emergency room, she exhibited pink, frothy sputum coming from the endotracheal tube. This was evidence of pulmonary edema.
Yes.
And
they got a pulse back then, no?
Hematocrit was a quarter of the normal amount.
Okay.
Emergency measures were taken to restore her vital functions. During this emergency treatment, the patient had spontaneous respirations. However, it is unlikely that she could have made a recovery since she had been without signs of life for 2 hours and 30 minutes prior to spontaneous respirations. She was pronounced dead at 10:52 p.m.
At what time? 10:52?
Yeah.
So what they say the cause of death was? Just anemia?
Yeah. The coroner determined that the autopsy did not show a grossly obvious cause of death. However, anesthesiologists consulted determined that the tumescent anesthesia had the potential for hypothermia, fluid overload, dilutional anemia, and lidocaine toxicity, and that there was inadequate monitoring of the patient.
All four. And anemia.
Yeah.
A quarter of the normal blood. Let's say your hemoglobin is normally 12, so that would be like a 3.
Ooh.
It's low.
That's crazy.
It's low. I've seen 2.9.
Wow.
And live, I'm saying.
Yeah. So this was one of his. So they said that they accused him of failing to remain with the patient or arrange for a substitute physician to be there for the 1.5 hour period that he was away from his office.
Right.
Despite that, she was
right.
Had low blood pressure, high pulse rate. That he allowed his medical staff to provide her with Motrin for post-surgery use, increasing the risk of bleeding complications.
That's a red herring. That's nothing.
Yeah. Well, this was also in 1998.
96, you said.
It happened in 96, but this is reviewed in 1998.
Yeah, no.
And then...
What was the 3-hour delay between infusion and liposuction?
I don't know.
Was he doing something else to her, like a rhinoplasty or a breast augmentation or something? Anyway, so the epinephrine...
Nobody knows what that means.
Okay, fine. So when you do liposuction, you make little incisions, you put in the fluid that is usually saline, which is, like salt water, whatever.
Yep.
And medicine for pain control, which is lidocaine, and epinephrine, which is adrenaline, which makes your blood vessels constrict. So when they're constricted, they don't bleed as much. It takes about 15 minutes or 7 to 15 minutes for the epinephrine to constrict the blood vessels. The lidocaine, the numbing part, can last for hours. Mm-hmm. But usually you infuse the infusate, the lidocaine, the epinephrine, you wait maybe 7 to 15 minutes, and then you start to liposuction. You don't wait 3 hours, because by 3 hours...
Do you use lidocaine?
I usually don't.
He does
almost never.
Lidocaine toxicity
I'm afraid. I use general anesthesia so that I don't have to use lidocaine. But a lot of people use lidocaine so they don't have to use general anesthesia. In other words, they just infuse a lot of this numbing medicine. Then you can do the liposuction with the patient awake. What I don't like about that, and I know there's a lot of doctors that would argue that they just prefer to do it with the patient awake. I don't like to do it with the patient awake because as you suck out the fat, you're also sucking out the lidocaine. And then at some point, you reach a point where you've sucked out all the numbing and they start to feel the last little bit. And it's always that last little bit that can determine like a really good liposuction result from a okay liposuction result. You want to make sure you're able to complete it. Plus, I don't like them moving around. And they do feel it. They do feel it when you're at the end there. So the point is that the guy should have immediately started liposuctioning. He shouldn't have waited 3.5 hours because by then the epinephrine's worn off, right?
Right.
So it bleeds more. And also the lidocaine probably could wear off. Also it can go in, as it gets absorbed, the lidocaine, it can become toxic.
Yeah.
And it can stop your heart, which is a possibility in this case.
Right. So they found that the Dr. Chavez was negligent and incompetent for waiting at least 3 hours after infusing 2-message solution before suctioning, for not properly monitoring the patient after the procedure, for failing to hospitalize the patient when the patient's blood pressure dropped 46 points systolic and 18 points diastolic from her pre-op level, for discontinuing
That's not.
for discontinuing the monitoring of the patient's blood pressure and pulse 3 hours after completing the surgery, for leaving his office 4 hours post-op without giving instructions to his registered nurse to monitor pulse and blood pressure, for giving the patient an orange to eat approximately 1 hour after surgery.
What's wrong with the orange?
Well, if they're not awake, they'll choke on it, which is what happened. So
Yes.
she started choking on it. He
Oh.
probably thought maybe she had low blood sugar and wanted to give her a little something to boost it up.
Right.
But yeah, you have to be awake to be able to eat. So she wasn't. And as with that hemoglobin level, you'd expect her to be passing out every time she tried to lift up her head.
Right. But he would have lowered her hemoglobin level right after surgery.
He wouldn't, but we don't know what it was beforehand. But
Right.
he would see how much blood is in the canisters when you
Right.
liposuction.
Right.
He should have had a hemoglobin before surgery to know where more or less she was, and you can make a rough calculation as to where it would be.
Right.
I hate blood loss. Like I give the patient back their own blood. I have a blood bank. Like I'm paranoid about people dropping too low their hemoglobin. I don't like to see it below 7 or
Right.
8.
All right. So this is the next patient. This is a surgery the day before. Is June 21st,
Boy,
1996.
so this happened 2 days back to back?
Yeah.
That's a bad week.
Yeah. So this is.
I think it's a little. These are court documents, so I think it was a little more than a bad week.
Yeah. Yeah. The first
oversimplification.
case I just talked about was June 22nd, 1996. And this is June 21st, 1996.
Oh.
And
Yeah, no, this is back to back days. But by the way, that happened here in Miami. There were a couple of cases where like people, there was one surgeon down here had like a really bad week, where like
Right.
perforated this, and then another patient died. It was all in the same week.
So
Like,
this
sometimes it happens.
this is the patient that was at his home when he left to go see.
Oh no.
So on June 21st, he performed liposuction on a patient. It was performed in his office, and so Dr. Chavez allowed his medical staff to inform the patient that she could eat anything she wanted just prior to the surgery, increasing the possibility of complications from nausea, e.g., choking from vomiting.
Yes, aspiration.
That's why people can't eat.
Yeah, they choke on their own vomit. You know.
Why would they be vomiting?
Because of the people vomit. Well, from general anesthesia, it makes you nauseous, so you definitely would. But also, if they're going under, you're putting the tube in their throat. When you lie them flat, any contents in their stomach will just float up their esophagus and then can go into their trachea. So that's why you don't eat or drink for 6 hours before surgery. So there's nothing in your stomach, presumably.
Yeah.
But was that done under local anesthesia or sedation?
Local. I think it was local.
Local. Still, anytime you lie down,
Right.
you have the possibility.
The patient was given water during the surgery at the doctor's direction. So during surgery, she also drank.
It's a little bit odd.
Okay.
It's another red flag. Don't drink during surgery.
The doctor directed that Wavicide be used to sterilize the cannulas, as well as the Klein needle that was used in the liposuction.
Wavicide?
It's like Cavicide, I think. but
Cavicide, okay.
Probably from, it was called that.
Back then.
This is like 25 years ago.
By the way, the Klein
20 years.
needle, that's the guy. Klein is the
almost
dermatologist
30.
that's the name of the dermatologist that invented liposuction.
Oh, wow.
So they named the Klein needle,
So he said the doctor or his employees did not use an autoclave to sterilize these instruments to eradicate possible germs from bodily
Ooh,
fluids.
that's bad.
They're expected to be so he just did
In the 90s?
yeah, so Cavicide or Wavicide, whatever, it's kind of like a quick sterilization. Like you could put instruments in like like a bath of the liquid. I think.
Germicide.
Yeah,
It's like
but
the stuff that your barber puts the
Yeah,
scissors
I was
in.
gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
it looks
that. It's not really for like surgical instruments. It's just
I mean, in the
yeah,
olden times,
it's all
people,
they had.
that's all they had. Or the olden times, they like dentists used to do that. They'd put
Yeah.
their instrument. But then once HIV came around in the 80s, that became a real big no-no. You definitely had to autoclave everything and be really careful.
Right. And then
Big no-no.
again they make a big deal about him giving her Motrin, which you say is not that big a deal.
Yeah, motion's not a big deal.
And then after surgery, she was oozing fluid from her incisions and legs, which is also normal.
Normal.
And then she was they put a garment on her, and she was given diapers to place on the incision sites. I guess that's like ABD pads that
Right.
they put on the so for the oozing, like it's like thick pads that you could put on.
They also have like that whatever that chemical inside the diaper that like solidifies the
Right.
liquid.
So then she was taken off the table and supported as she was taken to a waiting car. I'm not sure the timing, like how long this from surgery to being discharged was. And then the nurses wrapped a towel around her to help in her car. So she, like her oozing from her incisions. And then she was taken home to rest. And then while she was at home, she continued bleeding from her incisions on her thighs. 3 hours following surgery, she fainted at home and was taken to the emergency room at St. Francis Medical Center, where she exhibited symptoms of hypovolemic shock. What's hypovolemic shock?
When you lose too much blood.
Okay.
Hypo, low. Bulimia is your blood volume, and
Blood volume.
shock is shock.
Okay.
Shock is shock.
Shock is shock.
I knew hypo was under.
You did.
And she was given 3 diagnostic blood tests to see her hematocrit. So the results were 26, 24, and 20, with the last result taken at 3:40 a.m. on June 22nd, 1996.
That's not terrible. Hematocrit of 20.
This reflected an approximate 50% drop from a normal hematocrit.
What?
Yeah, is it normal hematocrit
No,
like 30?
30s for a woman.
Yeah.
But okay, whatever.
I don't know. The emergency room doctor informed the emergency room doctor informed Dr. Chavez that that his patient was receiving care at the hospital and might possibly be transferred to another hospital. The attending doctor ordered another hematocrit test, which was taken prior to transferring the patient to another facility. However, before the ordered test was completed, Dr. Chavez arrived at the hospital, canceled the test, and discharged the patient. He took the patient to his house.
Are people like allowed to do that?
Sure.
What?
Yeah, why not?
Like, who are you? Like, you're not even
Maybe he
my
was
next of care.
If he's on staff at the hospital, it's his patient, and he thinks that.
You can't just discharge someone and take them home.
Sure, you can.
That's like kidnapping.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
That's like weird.
That's definitely weird.
He must have had a difference of opinion with the ER doc, and the ER
So
doc
he-
must have thought this. Look, by the way, as you take blood tests, you also lose blood. So like
It goes down.
it goes down. So like
Yeah, but
I
that
took a blood
much?
test. Yeah, it's not that much. Is what I'm trying to tell you. It was
It
like
went from like 26 to 25 to 20.
yeah, it's not that much.
Okay, so then let's see what happens. So then he takes her. So he took her pulse.
Plus, she's getting fluids in the ER,
And
so
he-
like dilutes it down.
He brought her to his home. He did not take her blood pressure, measure hemoglobin, hematocrit, and did not check her incisions. Later that morning, so this was in the middle of the night, like 3 or 4 in the morning. He just took her home, and then he left for his office to go to work to do that surgery we just talked about,
That's a bad day.
and left her home with his untrained teenage niece. Left attended by an untrained teenage girl during the day for a period of 10 hours. During that time, respondent did not have another healthcare professional examine her. So Dr. Chavez did not have anyone else examine her.
Kids in the 90s were solid.
Yeah, I
could
was.
do
I was
things.
a teenage girl then.
Yeah, you're right. You could do it.
I mean, I would definitely be responsible about it.
You would, exactly.
But I don't know if I can is
Look,
the right word.
No, but what I'm saying is you weren't on your phone. Like there was no
No, there's no phone.
phone. So you'd just be like
There was
sitting there
TV.
looking.
There was TV though.
Yeah, so whatever. You'd be there like
Yeah.
in the room.
There's also the door for you to leave. Like,
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm saying I would do it, but can is different. I don't know if I had the ability to do it.
This guy is so weird. He's like,
And then
you medical professionals that all went to medical school in this big hospital full of stuff that could help someone in distress. I don't want her here. I want her at home with my niece
yeah.
while I'm not there.
She could have been Doogie Howser. You don't know.
And we're not even gonna take her blood pressure. Like the easiest test that you could probably do on someone.
Listen, hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
No,
I'm giving the guy the benefit of the doubt. There must have been a reason he took her home. He must
no,
have
this
thought
is so crazy. Like,
Okay.
She didn't die, did she? No, she didn't die.
I don't know. We're gonna find out.
Oh man, that would have been a bad
I'm gonna say she definitely
day.
didn't die because there's no way he would admit to not having taken her blood pressure and all this stuff. And the only witness that there would be him and her.
Right.
Okay, so then
True.
he comes back to his house when he left that day when this niece didn't answer the phone, and he took the patient to her house. He didn't check any of her vital signs and didn't test her hematocrit or anything.
Like he would never admit to that.
Yeah.
You know that you are giving me, you're triggering me, describing these whole events. I'm gonna have a nightmare tonight
That's
with this exact scenario.
okay.
Where I can't get to somebody. There's a patient at my house. I can't get to her. No one's picking up. Another patient's
don't-
dying in the office. This is like a surgeon's worst nightmare.
Yes. So then, yes.
Would you like to open your cookie? It's just like, how can I open my cookie?
I was trying to open it, and then I like look over at Megan. She's like, and I was like, and I just slowly put my hands back in my jacket, and then she was like, "Can we pause? Would you like to open your cookie?" Thank you, Megan. Thank you.
Do I have to
producer-
repeat
Okay.
my little nightmare? You are triggering me, Rosie, with this story. And I'm going to have a nightmare tonight where I'm calling a patient that I can't reach. I'm going to go into my car to go to her house. And then a patient's going to be dying. You are triggering me.
Hospital.
Like I'm picturing this whole thing,
Yeah,
it's
pretty
giving
bad.
me-
I'm sorry.
palpitations.
Well, I guess I'm describing it vividly.
You are.
At least your house is like a block away
Still, whatever.
from the patients.
No, but in a nightmare, I can't reach it. You know, it's always
Yeah.
like you can almost reach it, but you can't.
Okay, so he takes patient to her home. He didn't check anything. He
To
just-
his home.
No, when he went home, I guess he checked on her real quick and is like, "All right, you're fine," and he brings her back to her home.
Oh, okay.
And then she comes back to the office 2 days later on June 24th for a post-op visit. She presented with asymptomatic anemia.
What does
Okay.
that mean?
I don't know.
That means you don't.
I know
have
what it
any
means.
symptoms.
It means you have no symptoms, but you're anemic. So,
Because her
I mean,
hematocrit reading was 17.1,
oh, that is low.
indicating a greater loss of blood volume and showed a further downward trend in the patient's hematocrit.
Yeah, that is low.
Despite this extremely low hematocrit, respondent discharged the patient home rather than admit her to the hospital.
Yeah, that's low. Anything below 21, you're starting to need a transfusion. just
On
to feel
June
strong.
26th, this patient went to her personal physician, tested her hematocrit, and found the level to be 18.9.
Nice.
The
It
physician,
went the other direction.
yes,
It's going up.
her pulse was 118
That's symptomatic.
and blood pressure of 142/63. She also complained of lightheadedness and dizziness.
Yes.
The patient was later hospitalized and given blood transfusions.
Fair enough.
And then also a culture sample from her lower thigh and a subsequent lab analysis confirmed that she had methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus infection.
MRSA, which she probably caught in the hospital.
Possible.
What's MRSA?
It's
What she
a
just said, methicillin resistant Staph aureus.
It's a bacteria that's
Do you
like,
want me to jump over this microphone and beat you?
it's a very common thing that are in hospitals. Like it's an infection.
There's also community acquired now too.
yeah.
But
But
originally it started in hospitals. It's a bacteria that is only susceptible to like 1 or 2 antibiotics, and it can only be given IV. You can't. Like, there's no cure for it just by.
But what
pill.
happens?
Well, it's an infection. If an infection goes unchecked, you can get septic. You can, whatever.
Oh, but then you can get rid of it after or no?
yeah,
Yeah, with antibiotics.
but you have to, or you can die. I mean, whatever. If you had
And then
antibiotics, you
this-
live.
which
Okay.
warranted extensive antibiotic treatment.
Yes.
So then, for this patient, they also found him grossly negligent and incompetent for
Not giving her blood.
discharging the patient from the hospital emergency room to his home without checking her pulse, blood pressure, and or hematocrit, for failing to check the patient's blood pressure and hematocrit while she was at his home, for leaving the patient in the care of an untrained teenage girl that day, for having the patient at his home for 14 hours following her hospital discharge without documenting her condition, for failing to hospitalize the patient after testing her hematocrit on June 24th, 1998, and finding it to be 17.1, for failing to autoclave the cannulas and Klein needles used in the lipectomy, for giving the patient Motrin to take prior to surgery,
That's just
and for giving
that is not worth mentioning.
and for giving the patient water to drink during the surgery.
Also, probably not worth mentioning.
That's
What?
kind of weird.
It is weird.
Also, how would they know that he didn't sterilize using the enclave thing?
Because you're supposed to have a log. Like our autoclaves have logs. Every single cycle, every single thing you put in, you have
But
to
is it
log it.
manual?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you write it on it. You write it.
yes,
in a, you write it
it's
in
an
a,
honor system.
So
no,
he
but
could
you
have just done it
no, but you
himself.
write it in a notebook. In a like a literally like a right. Isn't it like a notebook?
Yeah,
So
it
you can't
is.
rip out pages. You know what I mean?
You
It's
can't
like
rip out pages, but you could put you could put logs that you didn't do. I
but
mean,
not if it's in between.
yeah. But
Like-
I'm saying he didn't have the
He didn't have a log.
he didn't even log it.
Yeah.
He didn't even fake log it.
Can
I
he
guess
just-
In
he's
his
honest.
defense, it was the early days of liposuction.
Can't he just say I did it and I forgot to log?
He probably did. And then they said, so you didn't sterilize them? He said, no, I did. I put in Cavicide, which is maybe they did it. I mean, it's a kind of a
I was
lazy way
gonna
to do it, and it puts the patient at risk for HIV and Hep C. And just eat your cookie.
So there's like, there's a lot of. So I'm counting here. So
Yeah.
I just told you 2 patients.
Yeah.
There's 3, 4, 5, 6.
Were there any more deaths or just that one?
Just that one, I think.
Okay.
7,
So
8.
so these are all patient
Is
complaints.
Let her finish counting. So we
Okay.
know.
Fine.
9, 10. Yeah, there's 10. There's 10 in this complaint.
10 separate patients.
Yeah.
Is it all that same week?
It was. This one was no, not the same week, but the same year.
Right. All in.
Like within a
June,
year. This is May
July.
1996.
Okay. So all around the same year.
August 1996. March 1997.
Right.
Yeah, so it's within like a year or two.
Okay.
10 patients that had complications that he was found negligent for by the board.
Okay. Where's the crime?
So they revoked his
What?
license.
That's it? They just took it?
Yep,
We
his
didn't-
his license was revoked,
Uh-huh.
and the crime happens. So he doesn't. He's not a doctor anymore. And then on, so his license was revoked September 1998. And then
When did he go to medical school, you said?
in the 70s.
So he was already practicing for 20 years as a gynecologist.
Yep.
Then he goes into cosmetic surgery in the late 80s, early 90s?
Mid 90s.
Mid 90s.
Yep.
Okay. Gets on the liposuction bandwagon because that's
Yep.
when it was becoming
Yes.
popular.
They had.
Has a bunch of complications. One patient dies.
Yep.
They revoke his license.
Yep.
Okay. Why don't he?
And
So
then
what's he do next?
so
How was that not all a crime?
it wasn't a.
It wasn't a crime.
It was negligent. I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't go to jail or
He
anything.
didn't go to
wasn't accused.
jail. It wasn't criminal.
But
it was
fa-
negligence. You know, like
Fast forward, it was
You're-
bad.
it wasn't great. Not a
It's
great look
really
for a
bad.
doctor, but it's not a crime.
Fast forward 5 years to July 23rd, 2002, and Dr. Chavez is on his way to Frosty Freeze to pick up ice cream, and his car was carjacked, and he was murdered.
Oh.
That's
What?
There's your crime. Is that a crime?
That is a fucking crime. To Frosty Freeze?
Yes.
How old was he when he died? That's terrible.
50.
Young.
He was on his way to pick up some ice cream, and he was carjacked by 3 men, and they shot him.
What was he doing with his life?
It doesn't really say. I mean, I think he was probably, I don't know. They just talk about his.
Once he got his license revoked, is he able to practice medicine or he's just not able to do surgery?
No.
he's not
Usually,
able to practice
no
medicine.
but you can go other things. He's a smart guy, you know, you can do other things.
Well, how do you know he's smart?
Because he practiced for 20 years as a gynecologist.
Yeah.
Without any
I don't.
problems.
It doesn't.
You don't know that.
I don't really know what he did in the 5 years, intervening 5 years. Maybe he was chilling. I don't know. But he got murdered. That's the sad life
That
of
is the
Patrick
crime.
Chavez.
That-
That is a crime. See, I was kind
You were,
of, I kind of,
you zigged.
I
when
zigged.
I thought he was going to zag. I thought you said he
Yes.
went back to trying to practice medicine and
Yeah,
under a new
see?
name or something, like the
it was
usual.
the whole negligence story was kind of a red herring to
Get to the
to
crime.
hide the crime that
I
was happening.
actually
To
knew-
Did they
surprise
catch the
crime.
people who killed him?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I actually knew that he was dead the entire time she was talking because I looked over and I saw the paper that says,
Patrick Chavez dies.
and I'm like,
But you didn't know how.
No.
And then, but you know, later on, let me see. Do you guys know who this person is?
no.
His
you don't even know who she's talking about.
Yeah, I don't know who she's talking about.
there is a patient on the show Botched
Oh,
who claims that she was one of his patients.
Oh, let me see.
let me
And
see.
then it's
I saw a lot of botched. No offense.
it was
I
she's
know
like
it's your
she
competitor.
said that her doctor was the one who was this guy who was killed on his way to get ice cream. What was her name?
Well, it could have been any doctor that was killed on the way to get ice cream.
Yeah, I mean I haven't read of other doctors who
No,
were
it's
killed
got
on the
to
way
be
get
him. I'm
ice cream.
kidding. Of course, it's him.
What was her name?
I'm
I
sure
think she-
somewhere in this world there's a doctor who also got killed getting ice cream.
There was a really sad story. Remember, like maybe 10 years ago, maybe less. 10 years ago, a really popular plastic surgeon in LA who was like had like a dog and he was like taking a picture, like I don't know, he fell off the cliff.
The dog.
Yes,
The
no,
Or
it
drove
was,
off the
It was
cliff.
what's her name's doctor Heidi.
Heidi Klum.
No, not Heidi
No.
Klum. Heidi from Laguna Hills and
I don't watch that.
she's the one who had like 40 procedures.
Right. Heidi,
And
what was her name?
Heidi.
Something.
And he just fell
No,
off
he-
a
no,
cliff?
he like-
no, he
like
committed suicide. I thought. I thought he
No.
drove off the cliff on purpose.
I think it was an accident.
I don't,
Whoa.
I don't
I- 'cause
think
he-
so.
'cause
The
he
story's
just-
very different. If it's
No, my the way I remember it, he had posted like a beautiful sunrise with my dog Max or whatever, and a beautiful picture here by the cliffs, and then they found his Jeep on the bottom of the cliffs, like he drove
Heidi
off.
Montag.
Yeah,
Frank
Heidi.
Ryan drove over a cliff while sending a Twitter message about his dog.
Exactly. So I wasn't so bad. And what he was sending a Twitter message. This is when Twitter first came out. It's like, what year was it?
See, that's why I yell at you to not you be on your phone while you drive.
I don't have a dog.
You don't have a cliff.
What year was it?
Uh,
That was tragic.
I'm surprised that didn't end Twitter.
It was in 2010.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah, it was. What was?
Don't tweet and drive for sure.
Don't treat. Yes, don't. Don't tweet and drive is true.
That's so crazy. Falling off a cliff over a tweet. And it wasn't even like Twitter was that popular back then.
No,
Like
he had
probably-
like 10 followers,
Like probably 3 people saw that tweet.
if that.
Damn.
No.
yes, it's
You're
not
saying
worth it.
if there were a lot of followers, that'd be
I'm
worth
saying
it.
like, would I be willing to risk you falling off a cliff for a TikTok? Maybe.
Of course,
Because millions of people would see it.
Here, her
you would.
Safiri.
Who?
No, I don't remember her.
Let me see. But did they show the liposuction? That wasn't good. Was it good
No.
or bad?
No, she went on Botch. Safiri Windsor,
Everybody goes
aka
on
Wanda
Botched.
Scott, has quite a dramatic tale for Botched. She said, well, this is what she says. She said she woke up in the middle of her procedure in pain, and the doctor told her to shut up.
Yes,
The
that sounds like him.
The story gets even crazier from there. She says that another patient died after he took her to his home to recover instead of taking her to the hospital.
Well, that's
So
not exactly
yes,
true.
It's a combination. She combined two stories.
Yes.
And then she says eventually her doctor was murdered at Frosty Freeze in L.A.
Okay, so there definitely was a doctor, but let me tell you something. It's exactly he did it under local anesthetic. There was no general anesthesia,
Yeah.
and just what I told you. You as you're sucking out the fat, you're sucking out the local anesthetic. So at some point,
It starts to hurt a lot.
it starts to hurt. So when she says I woke up in the middle, it was that the first 90% of the procedure she didn't feel at all.
Right.
Then all of a sudden the anesthetic is sucked out, and now she feels it.
Right.
So that's why she said she thought she woke
Yes.
up in the middle of the procedure.
So that is the sad life of Dr. Patrick Chavez.
Right.
So
Well, who knows it was that sad? You know what I mean?
It's pretty sad.
I mean, the end was sad.
I mean, he
The
got
end was sad.
He
Yeah.
lost his license, but that
That's
happens
true.
that happens even to good people if they, you have a bad week or whatever.
no. I'm saying he lost his license, and he got a few years later got murdered getting ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he lost his license for good reason.
No, he did. I'm not saying he should have lost his
yeah,
license,
I'm not.
but
I'm not. That's not what I meant.
I'm saying he had such a good start. Like he was doing like really good
Gynecology.
things to gynecology to his community. Like not just that, he was like giving back to his community and helping, and
Right.
and then he kind of did a career switch probably because he thought liposuction was a great new thing, and
It was a
And
great
it-
new thing.
then it didn't end up so well for him. And
Let me tell you, in the late 1990s, there were so many deaths from liposuction in the state of Florida that they put a moratorium. You could not do liposuction for like 2 years.
yeah, I remember.
There's a complete moratorium. It was right before I went into practice.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's your story for this week. There you have it.
Well,
Did
Thank you.
Did you enjoy the story while you ate your lunch?
How was that cookie?
It wasn't that great, actually.
Mm.
The sandwich is phenomenal.
Santina told me, she's like, I want to hear a story while I eat.
It's true.
so
It's like my iPad kid time.
hopefully it was
Santina eats Chick-fil-A every single day,
That's not true. I don't eat it every day.
and they're building a Chick-fil-A across the street from her apartment.
Yeah.
So
well, then maybe she'll get sick of it if it's right there.
I honestly only eat it on the days that we record the podcast.
Yeah, because it's like part of the ritual.
Yeah, it's almost like Pavlov's dogs. Like I
Mhm.
hear podcasts, I start
And
classic
she always,
conditioning.
she always gets it delivered like when we're about to start recording, and we're like, "Where'd Santina go?" Sorry, I had to go get my Chick-fil-A. All right, guys. So thanks for tuning in as always, and we'll be back next week with another crime and plastic story.
have a great week. Stay beautiful.
Bye.
Bye.